Hey guys, in this lecture video, we'll be mainly talking about the how we are going to detect the attacker and to make the different type of measure mechanisms. So once again, welcome to the lecture series on ethical hacking. In the previous videos, we have gone through about the Trojans, how they are going to attack, how they are going to affect my terminal, what is the different type of covert communications, keystroking logging mechanisms, and now next to the countermeasures that will be carried out from the Trojans. So here we are discussing about the countermeasures to be taken once if I am detecting any sort of attacker. Okay, this is about the detection measure mechanisms from the attackers or also intruders. So first of all, what excuse me, what I'll be doing is nothing but first of all we have to go with the proper network monitoring has to be carried out. So in order to analyze the network at the application layer level itself, we do have the SNMP, simple network management protocol. So it will be always monitors the network. Okay, how the network is behaving. Okay, or and next to the SNMP, we do have the different type of firewall mechanisms also at the transport layer level. Okay, I'll be using different type of packet filtering routers. Okay, and we do have multi protocol routers also whenever you are making the required communication with the different type of protocols which has been used by different type of networks. So whenever if apart with these things, apart with the regular operation that has been carried out in my network, if any situation has been there, okay, suppose annual outbound traffic, okay, whenever the intruder with a clear motto, if he's pumping multiple requests to make a DOS attack, so those things will has to be clearly monitored. Whenever this particular situation has been there, automatically the firewall mechanism has to, or else a network device has to monitor those particular actions. And if I am getting same request from same IP at same instant of time, better avoid those requests, not to make the server busy, not to have the DOS attacks. Okay, always we have to check the open ports. If any ports that is not used by the user for a certain interval of time, sorry, for a certain period of time, better to disable those particular ports. We have to use different type of IDS and moreover intrusion detection and moreover intrusion prevention mechanisms. We have to go with the different type of software applications. Best tools that has been available is nothing but the Snot has been there, Wireshark has been there. We can use these things. Wireshark is the best thing. Okay, it do provides it will be monitoring the open ports, it will be checking about the firewalls, it will be implementing the packet filtering router, whatnot. Everything can be available in the case of Wireshark. Okay, better we can go with this type of applications. Okay, you can see the required image also here. So the internet, via the internet, okay, if any traffic has been coming into the network, okay, so it has to be monitored by the firewall. And once it is entering into the network, and we have to go with the implementation of the IDS and more IPS detection, more prevention mechanisms, then only we are allowing the data that has to be come into my network so that we can provide the required security. And we are using different type of countermeasure mechanisms. Not only these things, we have to clearly analyze the behavior of the log information. It may be the system log, it may be the user's log, any sort of things. If any abnormal login attempts has been there, immediately we have to check about those things. Let me go with a small example. Whenever we are giving the passwords at least for 2 to 3 times in a wrong way, immediately we'll be having some sort of captcha will be there. That implies whenever this particular triggering alert has been there, whenever you are giving a more number of times with the false credentials, it will be the application will be simply alerting us to provide the required captcha. Captcha has to be carried out only through the human intervention. Thereby we can make the required countermeasures. And we have to monitor the whenever if any privilege has been escalated beyond my authorization, even though if I am not authorized, okay, if I am using, if I am asking permissions to access other database, then we can easily analyze, okay, something is fishy here, why the user is in need of those particular unauthorized data. is accessing. So we can have the required checking, and we can make the required analysis, and we can make the required triggering alert saying that as a user you are not authorized to access that data. Okay, we can analyze these things. Not only log information, we can analyze the required behavior of the behavior of the user also. Will be analyzing the patterns. Okay, so every day he will be carrying out only these type of operations. This type of database will be accessed. Okay, this type of results will be produced by the user. Okay, beyond that, if he is performing a different actions nowadays, we can analyze the statistical information. That is a thing what we are using in the case of statistical based intrusion detection system also. We are analyzing the behavior of the every individual. What type of operations has been carried out by him? What are the different type of websites? What is the day-to-day operation? Everything will be analyzed. If any abnormalness has been detected, automatically we have to alert the required system. So this is about the different type of countermeasure mechanisms that can be carried out. In condition to that, we have to have a proper user awareness should be there. Okay, user education is very much important once we are using any sort of software or any sort of applications. And we have to clearly define the required policies, rules and regulations. Okay, always try to avoid to download the required applications or else software from the proprietary websites. Okay, not to open any sort of attachments if it is of phishing mail. Okay, always verify the software source before installation. Okay, so once I want to install some sort of software from authorized relay, if I want to go with the authorized website, it may have some sort of cost to download that thing. So a normal layman like me, what I'll be doing, okay, what is the need to spend such an amount to download that application? Why can I go with the pirated softwares or also pirated websites? So at that thing, we should be very much cautious. So what is the source of that particular thing? Okay, always conduct the cybersecurity awareness training programs. That's why, even for the normal, everyone is using nowadays the mobiles. So as a responsibility, we'll be continuously updating the information to our parents and more grandparents also once they are using this particular smartphones. Why? Because cyber theft or also attackers will be mainly attacking the educators also, not only the normal laymen's. Okay. So we should be very much cautious about these things. We are seeing different type of scenarios nowadays. So we have to always implement the strong password policies, combination of alphabets, numeric, special characters. Okay, case sensitive, different type of things, and we have to periodically update these particular passwords. Never use the same password to all the applications, all the software, all the user accounts. Better change to update, change to have these passwords with a small change to your convenience. So at least we can provide some sort of security, and always go with the third party authentication, or else multi-factor authentication has to be implemented so that we can have the proper countermeasures can be carried out. This is concerned to the user level. At the system level, we will be using different type of techniques like disabling the unnecessary services. Okay, in the back end, if any services has been running out, better to stop or better to disable those particular applications. Once you open the control panel, and we can check what are the different type of other process that has been run in the backend. So try to disable those particular applications so that it can increase the performance of your system, and it may provide the required security also. It may be a keystroke logging, spyware, or also malware software, which may be accessing the total information. So always go with the disabling the unused reports. Okay, this is the thing regularly what I am speaking about. And always go with the removing of the default credentials. So as a lazy person like me, so what I will be doing, I will be going with the predefined or also default credentials. I will not be changing those particular credentials. So not to have this type of situations. Be attentive to once you are using any sort of information to maintain required security and more privacy, especially in the public networks. Try to avoid the default credentials, default passwords. Always go with the secure boot. Okay, during the booting process itself, better to scan the required things. Why? Because there may chance of having the boot sector virus may be there. It may affect the booting files also. It may affect once it has been booting has been affected, automatically system will not get switch on. So it will be in a trans situation. So make the required preventive mechanisms or countermeasures from the booting itself. Try to maintain or enable the secure boot. And always go with the disk encryption. Okay, to maintain the required security of the data, better to go with the different type of encryption mechanisms, whether we are going with the secret key encryption, public key encryption, any sort of things. Okay, better to use the public key infrastructure, better to use the digital signatures and all these things, so that we can provide the required security. Okay, here we can see that BitLocker will be there in the case of Windows operating system to maintain the data in the, or else keys in a secured manner. Okay, file wallet will be there in the case of Mac OS to maintain the required files in a high secured environment. Also Lux in the case of Linux operating systems also. In condition to that, next we have to always go with the instant response system has to be maintained, EDRs. If any early detection has been detected, okay, after that we have to go with a different type of countermeasures to have a proper recovery. So always disconnect the infected system in my network. If some sort of system has been detected, okay, with some sort of softwares or else malware softwares, any sort of things, better to discard that particular system. There is a chance we'll be having some sort of virus or else malwares with the functionality of worms, which will be propagating from one place to other place. Okay, there may be a functionality like bacteria which will be regenerating. Okay, which will be increasing its own size exponentially. Okay, always go with the full malware scans. If any suspicious suspicious applications has been detected, better to delete those particular applications. Always to have maintain the clear, proper backups. So in our WhatsApp also, we'll be regularly making some sort of backups. Every day the data can be backup, or else we can go with the no backup, or else 15 days backup, or else 1 month backup, or else any sort of things. So normal users will be keeping it as a everyday backup. We can't detect what maybe the situation may be occurred. Okay, if anything has been happened, if any uneven situation has been occurred, if I lost my mobile, if that particular mobile has been drawn into the water, else it has met with any sort of fire incident, any sort of atmospheric effects, we should not lose the data. So better always to have a clear backups. Okay, always change the required passwords regularly at periodical interval of time. Most of the banking applications, they will be insisting us to regularly, periodically update the passwords at every 15 days, 1 month, or else any sort of things. Okay, always go with the any sort of thing has been happening in our system, but always go with the reinstallation of the operating system whenever the situation has been there. Okay, from that particular thing, not to install different type of antivirus softwares to what I have to say, to scan and to make the countermeasures. If anything has been happened, if it is out of your bound, better go with the reinstallation of the total operating system. Okay, scan, delete, and maintain the required data in a proper manner. Not only these things, we have to go with the enterprise level protection also. Okay, we have to go with the endpoint detection mode of the response has to be maintained. If any situation has been there, we have to maintain the clear backups, and we should be in a capable position to restore. Other things, how they are going to happen with a proper backend response team. Okay, within minute of seconds itself, we have to respond to that particular threat, to that particular malware or else as spyware. Okay, always go with the SIM implementation to maintain the data in a secure manner. We have to go with the layered architecture of network. Network segmentation has to be maintained. Zero trust architecture has to be maintained. Never trust anyone. Okay, so before providing the required access to any sort of user, clearly understand, clearly analyze, clearly visualize what is his behavioral analysis. As per that things, make the required proper decision. Regularly go with the pen training or else pen testing. Okay, that is nothing but the penetration testing. Okay, these are the other countermeasures that can be implemented. Network monitoring has to be done. User awareness has to be maintained. Incident response has to be there with immediate effect. Log analysis has to be maintained. The entire information what has been carried out by the user, by the system, everything will be maintained as a log files. Those things has to be properly reviewed. From that thing, we can easily analyze the behavior of the user, behavior of the system, any sort of things. Okay, and thereby we have to go with the different type of enterprise level protection has to be implemented, like network segmentation, zero trust architecture, regular making the required penetrating testing, everything has to be carried out. Okay, so that we can provide the required security for the data. So these are the different type of detection mechanisms, or else detection after detection, making the countermeasures not to have any sort of threats with the same functionalities in the near future. Thank you.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.